And yet he fled.
And is now masquerading in this town, disguised as a second trombone.
A second trombone?
Yes. Would it be troubling you too much if I asked you to produce him? He goes by the name
Nanky Poo.
Nanky Poo.
That's quite easy. That is, it's rather difficult. In point of fact, he's gone abroad.
Gone abroad? His address?
Mohegan Sun.
What's the matter?
See here, his name, Nanky Poo, beheaded this morning. Where shall I find another? Where shall I find another?
Dear, this is very tiresome. My poor fellow, in your anxiety to carry out my wishes, you have beheaded the heir to the throne of Japan.
I beg to offer an unqualified apology.
I would like to associate myself with that expression of regret.
We really hadn't the least notion.
Of course you hadn't. How could you? Come, my poor fellow, don't distress yourself. If a man of exalted rank chooses to disguise himself as a second trombone, he must take the consequences. It was no fault of yours. It really distresses me to see you take on so. I've no doubt he thoroughly deserved all he got.
We are infinitely obliged to your majesty.
Much obliged, your majesty.
Very much obliged, your majesty.
Obliged? Not a bit. Don't mention it. How could you tell?
No, of course we couldn't tell who the person really was.
It wasn't written on his forehead, you know.
It might have been in his pocket handkerchief, but Japanese don't use pocket handkerchiefs.
I forget the punishment for compassing the death of the heir apparent.
Punishment?
Yes. There's something lingering with boiling oil in it, I fancy. Something of that sort. I think boiling oil occurs in it, but I'm not certain. I know it's something humorous, but lingering. With either boiling oil or melted lead. Come, don't fret. I'm not a bit angry.
Your Majesty will accept our assurance. We hadn't any idea.
Of course.
I knew nothing about it.
I wasn't there.
That's the pathetic part of it. Unfortunately, the fool of an act says compassing the death of the heir apparent. There's not a word about a mistake.
No.
Or not knowing.
No.
Or having no notion.
No.
Or not being there.
No.
There should be, of course.
Yes.
But there isn't. Oh. That's the slovenly way in which these acts are always drawn. However, cheer up. It will be all right. I'll have it altered. Next session. Now about your execution. Will after luncheon suit you? Can you wait until then?
Oh, yes. We can wait till then.
Then we'll make it after luncheon.
I don't want any lunch.
I'm really very sorry for you all, but it's an unjust world, and virtue is triumphant only in theatrical performances.